Okay, thank you so much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you joining us from across India and beyond to this exciting ELTAI webinar. We are delighted to have you all with us today. While we wait for the live streaming to begin, we would love to know a little bit more about you. So could you please introduce yourself in the chat? You can tell us that where are you joining from and what is your area of interest in English language teaching. So like we have today's session, we have multilingual assessment in the Central Asian context, tasks and translanguaging strategies, which would undoubtedly be quite insightful and relevant, especially in today's increasingly multilingual classroom. But before that, if you could kindly share some of your areas of interest and also do let us know, have you ever used more than one language in your teaching or learning assessments? Have you ever used more than one language in your teaching or learning assessments? That's great. I can see, yes, I can see few responses. That's really great. Hi, Dr. Suvita from Chennai. Okay. Okay. And can we also talk about, you can mention about some of your challenges that you face when you are assessing your learners from diverse language backgrounds. Good afternoon, Suryaji. Good afternoon, Suryaji. Good afternoon, Amritaji. Good afternoon, Dr. Hemangi, Dr. Ravi. Good afternoon, everyone. So, can we hear from you a little bit about those challenges which you face when you assess your learners from diverse language backgrounds? Are there some challenges? Okay, okay. I can see the answers. Devendra ji, thank you so much for your response. Thank you so much for your response. So we can keep this chat a little bit lively by the time we begin the session. I hope you all are aware that we begin sharp at 4:30. So let's keep this chat lively and respectful till then, so that you can post your thoughts and that can act as a warm-up activity for our next speakers. Uttamji, thank you so much from Bengal. Yes. Okay, so can I listen about some of the languages? What languages are commonly used in your classroom? What languages are commonly used in your classroom, and how do you currently assess those students? What? Okay, Ranchi, I can see Juhi ji is from Ranchi. So Juhi ji, could you please mention about some of those languages which are used in your classroom? Other, okay, English and Telugu. Ravi ji, Dr. Ravi, thank you so much. English, okay. Bengali, I heard. Bengali, okay. Hindi sometimes. Dr. Somana, Hindi and Bangla, okay. English and Tamil. Arijit, Dr. Arijit, okay. Okay, engaging students would be the challenge. Okay, that's great to hear. Okay. More challenges I would love to hear about. What are those challenges which you probably face? And I'm sure you must be resolving all those with your teaching strategies, with your instructional strategies, with your different teaching methodologies that you adopt in your classroom. What are the other challenges? I am sure that's going to orient our speaker as well. Okay, from Tamil Nadu, bilingual. Okay, many of them have mentioned about bilingual methods that they use. Reduce focus on target language. Okay, reduced focus on target language. Okay. Dr. Somna says communication with irregular students. Okay, so isn't the attendance mandatory to them? Are we still facing those problems? Struggling to find equal terms with mother tongue. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, one more question, that do you believe that allowing students to use their home language in assessments helps or hinders their learning of the target language? Somebody mentioned about the target language. That so do you believe that if you allow the students to use their home language in assessments, what do you feel? Will it help the students? Will it help their learning of the target language, or will it hinder their target language? What do you feel? Will help. Okay. Dr. Hemangi said hinder. Okay. So we have the contradictions right away. Help versus hinder. Okay. Better to allow. But again, we have, so with every, we have a uniform ratio about the pros and cons of it. It hinders the target language. It helps the target language. Hmm. And why do you think, if it helps, why does it help? If it hinders, why does it hinder? If it helps, many of you are of our view that it helps. So if it helps, what do you think? Why does it help? If it hinders the competence stream, okay. Mm-hmm. Good afternoon, Dr. Pradeep. Difficult to access their original depth in the target language. Okay. So learning a foreign language requires, okay. Mm-hmm. Dr. Ravi says that developing their LSRW skills, it hinders in the way that they get used to the support. Okay. Accent misconception. Mm-hmm. So for the accent neutralization, you believe that it helps if we strictly stick to one language. Helps in deeper understanding. So what helps? One language, two languages? What one language helps, as it allows more time for the target language, or it hinders? So please do mention that as well. Hmm. Dr. Hemangi says that once they get to know the target language and start practicing in daily, using visuals and exercising on speaking skills. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So that is quite uh, motivating participation from each one of you. And I can see around 130, more than that now, 131 in fact, 131 participants already there. So we have just 30 more seconds to go, and then we can begin. Okay. Thank you so much. Namaste, my dear friends, brothers, and sisters. I am delighted to have you all join us for ELTAI Webinar 135, brought to you by the English Language Teachers Association of India. My name is Dr. Nutan Chaudhary, and I will be your host for this exciting session today. Today's topic, multilingual assessment in Central Asian contexts, tasks, and translanguaging strategies, is one that resonates deeply with educators and language learners alike. Before we dive into today's engaging topic, let's take a moment to get acquainted with the vibrant world of ELTAI. For those of you who are new to our community or simply need a refresher, we have a brief video to showcase some of the incredible activities and initiatives ELTAI is involved in. May I request the video, please? Wow, wasn't that inspiring? ELTAI's commitment to empowering English language educators across India is truly commendable. Before we begin, here are a few important points that I would like to share with you so that we can ensure everything runs smoothly. Please post your questions in the chat box during the webinar. We encourage you to stay with us for the entire session, because few very, very important announcements would be made towards the end of the session only. Certificates will be issued within 10 working days. Please avoid sending follow-up emails immediately after the webinar to prevent delays. A feedback form will be shared by the end. Please fill out to receive your certificate. Certificates are available for school, UG, and PG students, ELTAI members, and foreign nationals. PhD scholars are encouraged to join ELTAI. Check your inbox and spam folders for the certificate email. Keep a copy of the confirmation email after submitting the feedback form for verification. We invite non-members to join ELTAI for access to resources, professional development, and a strong peer network. Friends, to oversee this discussion, we have a moderator. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed moderator for today's webinar. Dr. Yusuf Ahmad Muhammad Sharif is an assistant professor in the research department of English at Sadaqatullah Appa College, Tirunelveli. With over 8 years of experience in academia, Yunus is deeply committed to teaching and has a strong record in classroom management, earning positive feedback from both students and colleagues. He holds a PhD in Cultural Studies from the English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad, with a dissertation titled Daud Shah and the Tamil Muslims, Religious and Social Reforms among the Tamil Muslim during the early 20th century. Additionally, he has a postgraduate diploma in teaching English and a Master of Arts in English and Comparative Literature. Yunus's academic journey is complemented by several technical qualifications, including diplomas in computer applications and office automation. He is also a UGC NET and SET qualified educator with a strong interest in research that explores cultural, religious, and linguistic intersections, particularly concerning the Tamil Muslims. His research interests span various fields, including translation studies, post-colonialism, and the socio-cultural aspects of Tamil literature. As a researcher, Dr. Yunish has supervised multiple doctoral dissertations and has published numerous papers in prestigious international journals. His work often delves into the complexities of identity, culture, and language. His publications cover topics like Tamil Muslim identity, the resistance in Kalyana Rao's Untouchable Spring, and the translation of Tamil literature dialects into English. He has also contributed to several conference proceedings and has presented his research internationally, including in Switzerland and the United States. Dr. Yunus is actively involved in extracurricular activities, serving as the program officer for the National Service Scheme, where he has coordinated social service activities and special camps. He is proficient in various technological tools and has integrated these into his teaching methods, fostering a modern tech-savvy learning environment. He has also acted as a resource person in several national and international seminars and webinars, sharing his expertise on topics related to literature, technology, and cultural studies. His work continues to influence students and colleagues alike as he strives to bridge the gaps between culture, history, and literature through his teaching and research. Now, without further ado, let me hand over the session to our moderator for the day. Over to you, Dr. Yunus Ahmad Muhammad Sharif.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vasim Tamboli. Thank you for that elaborate introduction. Now it is time for me to introduce the theme for today's talk as well as the speaker for today. This session directly addresses the challenges learners face with current monolingual examinations The title for today's webinar is Multilingual Assessment in Central Asian Context, Tasks and the Translanguaging Strategies. This is the title for today's webinar, and it will be directly addressing the challenges learners face with current monolingual examinations by exploring multilingual assessment as a more inclusive and effective alternative. The discussion today will delve into issues in current EFL or ESL assessment, demonstrating how to design multilingual tasks using translingual strategies and sequence them from cognitively simple to complex. Their aim is to provide practical implications for school teachers to create more inclusive and motivating assessments for their learners. The speaker today is Dr. Vasim Tamboli, who is an assistant professor of English in the Department of Philology and director of the Center for Educational Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Mamun University, Uzbekistan. He has a PhD in language assessment from the School of English Language Education at the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, India. He has been researching and teaching for more than a decade now. His areas of research interests are bi or multilingual education, second language writing, and language assessment and evaluation. And he has over 10 publications in these areas in national as well as worked as a research associate on a DFID ESRC funded educational project led by the University of Cambridge, United Kingdom, in collaboration with Indian universities, and also served at the School of Holistic Development, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune. At present, he is working with Mamun University on multiple projects, and one of them is simplifying the monolingual English textbooks across the school grades using translingual strategies for teachers and students in the public schools in Uzbekistan. This aims to make learning a fun activity for Uzbek students and enable teachers to capitalize on the cognitive and academic benefits of a multilingual brain in achieving academic excellence. So, with this brief introduction about the speaker today, I hand over the session to Vasim Tamboli for his presentation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Let me check if I'm audible. Is there any background noise? Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir. Your voice
Hello?
is clear.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nuta. Thank you, Dr. Inush, and all the participants here. My dear respected colleagues, I can see some of my seniors, some of my teachers, and some junior researchers here. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much to be here on this Sunday evening, which is rather difficult for most of us. Without spending much time in any other formalities, I would like to straight away share my presentation, and we'll start the discussion. But let me talk before I go with formal presentation. Let me talk about a bit about Uzbekistan. Those who don't know about it. It is 2.5 hours flight from Delhi. It is towards north of India, and they really adore us. They really adore Indian people. They are crazy about our Bollywood movies, and I really like food there. And there are 3 major cities. We have Tashkent, Bukhara, and Samarkand. These are well-known cities. And this is about Uzbekistan. So hello, namaste from Uzbekistan. And let me share my screen first. Problem is it's not moving. It's moving. Sorry for this glitch. Yeah. So let us begin with the session now. So in this webinar or in this presentation, I would be talking about these 4 major components. So first, we'll try to understand the multilingual context, mostly in Uzbekistan. We are well aware of our multilingual context. Then we move on with the multilingual assessment. Obviously, it is a challenging part. So as we see, when I have seen so many responses, pros and cons of multilingual teaching, pedagogy, or multilingual assessment. It is very challenging, but at somewhere we need to take baby steps. And this webinar will go in that direction. The next is we'll try to link this approach, multilingual assessment approach, to our case, to our Indian case, Indian diaspora of language teaching. And towards the end, we'll have open discussion where we can take up questions and we can receive teachers' reflections. So when we talk about linguistic diversity of India, right? Number of states, number of languages, number of official languages, number of languages used for print are numerous. So many number. When we talk about Central Asian part, which has 5 main countries, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. And they share link with Turkic nations. These are also Iranian Turkic nations. So they have 35 documented languages. The case in India is that we have immigration within country across the states. In Central Asian countries, there is no as such immigration, but they share the roots of language. Uzbekistan, when we look at the schools, the medium of instructions they have, 80% of Uzbek schools, they have Uzbek as a medium of instruction. 50% they follow Russian, and other languages, the bordering countries like Kazakhstan, they follow this Kazakh language. In India, we have approximately 26% schools which have English medium of instruction at schools. This basically makes the two identical scenarios different. We have a good English language exposure to our students, whereas in Central Asia, they lack because it is EFL context, English for. When we have less number of English medium schools, and English is being taught as a foreign language, and when we interact with teachers there, we get to hear their responses. The main reason is that this is a young country, one of the youngest countries. They got independence in 1991. In 1995, they introduced English at grade 5 as one of the options among the 4 languages: French, Dutch, German, or English. So students, those who opted for English, are less in number. It continued till 2016, 2015. In 2016, they introduced English at grade 1st. And if we calculate the years in 2023 or 24, the students, those who started learning English at grade 5, they were in grade 6, grade 7, and those who started learning English just before COVID 2016, they were in grade 6. A 1-year gap between grade 6 students and grade 8 students, but the exposure about 6 years, exposure to English language. And this case made the English language teaching scenario a bit challenging for English teachers there. And this has multiple challenges. Like the teachers, those who are teaching French, Dutch, German, they became English teachers. Somewhere they recruited English teachers also. That is one of the major challenges they had. Students struggle since they did not have enough exposure. They had just started learning English in grade 5th, and this is 2-3 years. they really struggled. They showed less interest in speaking or writing in class. Sometimes out of 20 students, only 2 or 3 they showed willingness to use English language in the class. With this, they have fantastic books, the Cambridge books for school students, and these books are loaded with content and loaded with activities, skill-based activities mostly. Their lesson at school, the lesson time is 40 minutes. A teacher walks in a class for 40 minutes, and then one has to wind up the class at whatever stage he or she is, they have to wind up the class. So considering these constraints or challenges, when we had interaction with teachers, school teachers in Uzbekistan, they were like, we need something special, we need something different to make our students interested in using language, using English language, at least to start learning English language. Then together, so with a group of teachers, those who teach English there, we started studying their books. The sample, I'm sharing my experiences to start with. The sample book we have got here from grade 7, and it's a 1 unit. And this particular grade has 3 books. One book is for teachers, one is for students, and additionally student workbook they have. This particular lesson in teacher's book runs across 6 pages and has 23 activities. And they have activities, skill-based activities for vocabulary, grammar, and speaking. So after finishing 4 lessons, they were expected to complete this 23 activities in 4 lessons or 5 lessons. And the last lesson, that lesson number 6 for unit 1, is kept for assessment. And they have this systematic set of assessment. All these books are monolingual. The observation is that teachers as well as students find it difficult to read, to teach, and to learn using monolingual books. But these books are really good because these are not skill-based with so many activities. So as per the requirements, we sat down and we tried to develop some tasks. We tried to collate this 23 activities across the 6 pages, and we tried to design 3 tasks. I'm giving this kind of background because before assessment, we need to have some kind of pedagogical exposure, and I'm just setting the tone of my presentation with this kind of particular information. This is a glimpse of a classroom in Uzbekistan. These are all our public schools, government schools. This is a classroom where grade 7 students learn. The class size is approximately 20 students. And unlike India, what happens here, teachers don't change the classroom, students change the classroom. Teachers have their fixed classroom, and students go to different classrooms wherever they have class. So this is the English classroom. Whenever they have English class, a group of students, they come and sit during that class time. These are the teachers, they were monitoring examination. And there are so many competitive examinations. This government also gives prize amount. Here you can see like 25 million some soms. So examination is also very dominated in this country. So to come to our discussion for today, that is multilingual assessment. As an assessment expert, I'm always carried out by going into depth of theoretical framework, talking about 5 principles of assessment: practicality, reliability, validity. But today I'll try to control myself and try to focus more on the practical aspects of assessment when I talk about multilingual assessment. Why do we really go by this, giving students liberty or opportunities to mix and use multiple languages as they learn target language, English language? In our case, why do we have to mix languages? Allow them make use of multiple languages when they take English language test or assessment, that is proficiency test. Some of the answers, reasons are they already have some knowledge base, some skill set. We don't want to language become a hindrance in their academic growth or to fully present their knowledge or language proficiency. We'll see these arguments with the concrete examples in the forthcoming slides. When they take language test, when our students they are involved in language test, it is not only they deal with language, they also do mental, they also need to use their background knowledge, their environmental knowledge, societal knowledge, their mental cognitive abilities. All this together form their knowledge base, and this knowledge base help them display their linguistic repertoire as well. With all this, with an inclusion of multiple languages, we can give them fair and equitable forms of assessment and fair opportunities for them to use their knowledge base. When we decide to have multilingual assessment in our school context, maybe in our college context, main question arises is that to what extent can we allow our students to mix language in our English class? As I said, this is not very straightforward. There is no straightforward answer for this, but everything depends on the situation. Situation in terms of learners' language profile, learners' environmental profile, their geographical understanding. So when we talk about assessment, all this, or when you talk about learners' second language acquisition, learners' development of language learning, all these factors contribute, and we consider these factors when we have pedagogical aspect. But when we have assessment aspect, we are very rigid in terms of that. We just go by monolingual assessment. So there are different types of assessment which we will discuss. A couple of things are debatable as well, but we can take this as a baby step. Somewhere we have to make our mind, and we have to start exploring whatever has been documented. So to what extent we can allow students to mix languages, we can put it on a simple continuum. As we teach a target language, let us say in our case, English. So the aim is that we have to make learner independent of L1 when it comes for his or her academic expressions, certificate for job purposes, or for migration to English-speaking countries. Many have different aims or different goals to have better language proficiency in English, or let us say L2. But it starts with L1. So when we allow them, it depends at language proficiency how incrementally growth they show. So we can allow learners to mix languages based on continuum. There are three formats of multilingual tests. We have monolingual format, we have monolingual by translation, and we have multilingual by design. So what tests we use, like IELTS or TOEFL or some standardized tests? These are like monolingual, and they have their aims in place. When we talk about classroom tests, we may have multilingual by translation or multilingual by design, where our test document, instructions, content may also have multiplicity of languages. As I was reading the chat, someone said learners face difficulty while reading or understanding the questions. One might be able to, if we explain the question, one might have the answer, but might not be able to express or give the answer because of his or her language. That then the language of expression becomes a constraint, and it affects in multiple ways. The third type of format is multilingual by design. So we allow learners to use multiple languages to give answer. So more than one language is accepted, and everything depends on the general needs and test purposes. And accordingly, we allow learners. For example, if there is an examiner who can understand 2 languages only, and in that case, we might not allow. Or if we allow, then we need to have another examiner. Then it becomes more difficult. It might require more funding. But we're talking about classroom tests, so let us go by this. I would like to share some experiences from a Central Asian context, as I have already tried to set the tone, explaining how this multilingual context is different from Indian context, where we have enough exposure to English language in our schools, be it private schools or be it government schools. The case is different in Uzbekistan because when they introduced the English as a medium, as a subject, so you can actually imagine their language proficiency level. So I have taken this small text from Unit 1, Grade 7 textbook. We can have a minute to read. Nice representation. They have used graphics and everything, but to make it a part of our assessment document, what we have done, we have given learners thinking pause. So you can see after every sentence, or sometimes after every C unit, there is a pause, which is very evident, which is made by slash. You can see it in a blue. After this, we have given 10 sentences. Maybe some of you can try answering this yes/no questions. And this is a second type of assessment where pure translation is used for learners to understand, for learners to comprehend the text. Sophie is a 15-year-old girl. A child can read this sentence in his language, that is Uzbek. We also have given Russian version because sometimes they have like Russian language schools also. So those who can understand Russian, they can make use of Russian language here. They can rely on their Russian knowledge. Those who understand Uzbek, they can rely on Uzbek, and if they can make sense of English, it is perfect. There are no issues. But we really don't want to discourage or have these Uzbek-speaking children out of the context simply because they cannot understand some questions here. And we have tried to simplify this. And this entire thing became a part of their assessment document, which I'll show you in the next slides. So these assessment documents are based on translingual goals and strategies. Let me briefly explain this. So there are these goals and strategies at this activity one. We can see we really need to build their background knowledge, deepen understanding, develop and extend new knowledge. And with this reading test, where this girl Sophie, she talked about football, sorry, uh, rugby. So we gave her, we used this text from the class, from the textbook itself. This is the reading text, and we helped learners answer questions in L1, understand and answer in L1. Target language was also one of the options for that. We have uh, another activity. So that is activity number 5. Identify and categorize given sports and games of Uzbekistan. Sometimes what happens in school context, it happens in our context also, maybe in remote areas, our parents are not very sensitive about children learning. And this is one of the suggestions they ask, sir, how do you make parents involved in students learning? And this, in fact, this has some strategies, like we can have project, or we can have research based some activities where child goes home and involve his or her parents. So this is the activity. We didn't use it for assessment, but this translanguaging strategy we used in our class. And it was very interesting for them. They also said, like, we also don't know these many things about this. These are the different games we have in our own culture. So there are the categories for games of Uzbekistan. We have Shepherd's game, games associated with crafts, and these are the names of the games. So the focus of this activity could be to teach the concepts, the games which we play alone versus we play in team, the games which are indoor, or the games which are outdoor games. And then we can talk about similar games in other countries. So if some of us know these, these types of games, and if we have in our culture, feel free to type these games about your culture. Whatever games we have. For example, can we write Gilli Danda here? So that can be a team game, that can be outdoor game. And here we can put it action games. Or there are some games which we play during get-togethers. If you know some games, if you have some interesting ideas about these games, you please feel free to type in the chat box. I would like to have a look at it. Right? We can have 2 minutes or 3 minutes for this. No Gilli Danda? You can type games from your own language. Sure, you can type in Tamil, no issues. Kabaddi is again a team game, outdoor game. Very interesting. So this also helps to involve parents when we talk about language teaching, right? And these are the 5 different goals of translanguaging. You can maybe refer to Garcia and Ray, 2014. It is page 120. So after this session, whenever you can just Google and you can think of these strategies. So when we have to build background knowledge, so what collaborative dialogue we have? Generally in our classes, we have warm-up sessions, so sentence starters we have to help our students build background knowledge, deepen their understanding. We can have some simple reading tests about different cultures, and we can have cross-linguistic transfers where we have a text from 2 different languages. So this comes at a bit linguistic level, syntactic level, or morphological level, where we see how one function or one word is used differently in like two different languages. All right, with this, there is something else for you. It was very interesting for me to see Gilli Danda in Uzbek English textbooks, because these books are Cambridge books. And very nicely, they have given this graphical and these three short text about games. So one is a game from UK, another game is from Indian subcontinent, and then cycle ball is again the Western thing. When we had to give this translanguaging, we had to use translanguaging or multilingual assessment with this kind of text. What we did is we just took these things out of the text and we had put it in a word format, and we gave some concrete pictures for this, because here this octopus is not visible for the students, so they were curious about it, what is it. The very interesting thing about these three texts is these are parallel texts in terms of their complexity level, in terms of content level, content complexity, the presentation. The theme is same across the three texts, and the number of sentences vary a bit, but the presentation of the content across the three texts looks identical. And our teachers, Uzbek teachers, they decided to take advantage of this. If we read this, let us read this, the Gilli Danda thing. This is an ancient sport from India. There are two teams. So every second sentence across the three texts is identical. First, they talk about the origin. They talk about team members. Then there are some rules. So if we look closely, these things, the actions are interdependent. When we have first action, the origin, then we have the number of participants, then the devices which we need, the accessories which we need to play, then rules. And finally, what happens? The winning team is the team with the most goals at the end of match. So in three texts, they follow a certain structure. And when we gave this to our students, this simplified version, we also decided to have another simplified version like this. So we translated this in their language, and we reorganized these sentences, and we requested, or we asked our students to give a correct sequence. So we had explained everything in English, in Uzbek, but when we really wanted to understand their comprehension level, we made it like a task for them. And very nicely they did it. They were really interested because they had started understanding something in English class. Before this, what used to happen, rather teacher could just translate things, and this like oral form, this would go like this. So when there was something in print form, they started understanding this. They started having good connection with this. They started enjoying their work, their learning in the classroom, and all this was done by these Uzbek teachers. Sometimes there are some students, they need challenges. Like some students can say, teacher, this is very simple, give me something difficult. Using the same text, we can have another multilingual activity. Here, since it was a bit complex, I didn't use, this is for representational purpose here. In original text, there are mix of languages, but for this presentation, for our understanding, I have written it in English. So here we gave them kind of a problem solving. Okay, what happens there if you see octopus game? octopus, and the problem is team A and team B were charged up in an octopus game. Team A scored 6 goals with the help of 7 players, whereas Team B scored 4 goals with the help of 6 players. So Team A has 7 players, Team B has 6 players. But there was an objection by the umpires stating violation of a rule. What's the problem then? What should be the result? So this octopus says each team has got 6 players, and there is an even number of players in this game, and this is the reason the umpire had objection. Once we give this, we can also allow our students have their thinking time, and when they represent or when they answer, we can allow them use any language they're comfortable with. Because along with language, along with English language, we're also helping them access their cognitive abilities. It's not only the language, because we don't want language to become a hurdle. So after finishing this unit 1 with the students, we had a kind of examination. It was examination number 2, because these are things the teachers need to follow. They had take examinations after every unit based on whatever they had taught. So this unit has 23 activities. We had revised in multilingual form. We made it 3 broader tasks, and their test paper, this multilingual assessment paper, looked something like this. So it has grammar and vocabulary also. So, this was 50 marks question paper. If you look at question number 21 to 23, it is about grammar adverbs. And we really did hand holding. I should not say spoon feeding, but it was hand holding, because we also see this assessment for learning. It's not assessment of learning only. So we gave them some rules here. In English, we usually put the adverb before the verb, and the translated version of this. And the item, test item, it was number 21. My team always play. Oh, it should have been play. Then there are options in 3 languages. So how they understand. And the yes, no. It is a rough version because all the questions are correct here. So this is a representative sample for you to understand, for you to start using in your classrooms. This was about very much translated version, multilingual by translation. Now we'll look at the third format of multilingual assessment, multilingual by design. Wonderful students, and they're really bright students. They did fantastic job. What they did, they watched commercial advertisements and they wrote about it. So I'll show you one thing here. So this is a commercial advertisement about Pepsi. And the students had a book where they came up with some commercial advert. They watched some existing or popular commercial advertisement, and they wrote a kind of description of this advertisement. Let me show you this advertisement. So this was the video input they received. They watched this video advertisement, which is obviously in their own language, which is the video of input and instruction is in L1. If we have Hindi advertisement, that becomes like for most of them it becomes L1. L1 is the input. Then we had uh, additional content for them to understand it and for them to have some familiarity with the advertisement in target language, that is English. We can take a minute to read this. Uh, the same thing, simple thing. Whatever happens in this advertisement, the students have described, and the teachers have helped them with editing and some other things. So they have link also. They made it a bitly link. They had a scanner, so you can scan and watch this advertisement. The third step of this assessment is once we help them watch this advertisement, in Uzbek they call reklama. So they watch this advertisement, they read L2 content about advertisement. The third step, so they were taught the story structure. So whenever we have a story has certain components, right? Every story starts with some initiating action. Then we have a protagonist, they have some goals, they try to achieve their goals, they put some efforts, then there is outcome, and finally they feel something, they either feel happy or sad. After we taught this story grammar, the students came up with different stories. So altogether there were 30 stories, 30, and like all the popular advertisement Uzbekistan were covered under this theme. Please take 2 minutes to read this story, how the students have written. Her name is Sabah. Sabah has written this story. I hope this is visible for you. You can read it. So what happens when they watch this? They try to understand the content in English. Then we give them freedom to create their stories. They get some time to show the read the retail story again. You can some really no, no, okay. I told and dependent to independent or depend on him. Depend. So we have comparative language. So we have so I'm not okay.
No, sir, your voice is breaking.
So,
Uh, Speak now, sir. Let me check. It's still breaking.
This and rubric we can delete as topic. Not only about language, it's more than that. With teacher, with content learners to edit and to content that present so after and we use it in the then we have to load we have this thing and goal he wants to put to get relax he wants to get what he put and his that to and
Voice is still breaking.
yes.
It's not clear.
Sir,
Hello.
can you turn off the video and just keep
Yeah,
the
yes,
audio alone, sir?
try that. Turn off your video and let's see.
Yeah, I guess we can all turn off the video so that the audio is glitchy a little bit. We'll try doing that.
From
Dear
my-
audience, please have patience.
Vasim, can you go ahead and let me check audible?
Yeah, I just want to if this is my background and I can put it connected to
Voice is breaking.
Yes, sir. Your voice is still breaking. Can you turn off the video, please? Use only the audio, sir.
I've turned on the captions. I guess that can help.
I think so. Is good. Is it now?
Still breaking.
Still breaking, sir.
Yes. So I'll start from here. So when we talk about story grammar, so we have these 5 components. The goal, what he really wanted to have, like his intention was to pull himself down. Then he put in some efforts. He joins his friends at the party. Outcome is he drinks Pepsi and enjoys with friends. And the reaction is he becomes happy. Next slide, please. Mr. Kevin. Yeah, so let us spend some time with this slide now. So this is a bit challenging task, I would say. So as we do our monolingual assessment, it is very straightforward. We do it this language or that language. So here we get multiple options. I would say our students get multiple options. So if a student chooses to have his or her speech, narrative retelling speech in one language, let us say Uzbek. Then when we assess, we go by this language, or one says only English, then we go by English. If there is a mix of languages, we also have this sample multilingual assessment criteria. So where we try to understand at what multilingual level our learner is at. And as a teacher, our teaching objective is to make that student independent of L1 and like maximum use of L2. So again, there is a continuum. So if we have a question, how much of language, we can put it on continuum. And what language or how many number of languages we give freedom, it depends on situation. It depends on needs. It depends on requirement. Again, it depends on the availability of assessors, examiners. So we have, if we have this Pepsi task as a sample task, and we have output. So we have this language features can be for 10 marks, and language feature has complexity, that is the learner's ability to make and use of advanced structures. We can have error-free structures. We can have fluency at how ease one is using language. We have vocabulary. So all these components we can club. So this is a representation for representation purpose, or for this is like a sample, a generic sample. So when we decide to have our test, we can play around these components. We can play around these features. We can decide, okay, as per my test objective, what component of this language proficiency will get more number of scores or more weightage. So that we can always decide. So this is for, you can consider this as a representational purpose. So we have content. So any task has certain content, like even if you take IELTS task. So in the instruction itself, they make clear the kind of content one will generate. All right. And the story grammar, that is about one's cognitive ability. If one is able to identify these 5 things, like initiating action, goal, attempt, outcome, and how one feels at the end. Next slide, please. A little up. Thank you. So here we have a sample performance by one student. It's the same student. So she initially performed this task. She watched Uzbek advertisement. She read the description. She read the story, and she decided to give it a try in English. The first performance is in English. One day, a blue wearing cap, and he wants cold water. It's Pepsi. He fell outside of traffic. Then, in addition to once drinking hot coffee, hot Pepsi under tree, and eating shashlik and pulao, and cold Pepsi. Then came back, then carry out, then keep on working as a traffic. After this performance, she said, again, she wanted to try, so we allowed her. And the next performance, which is mixed. So here, like it wasn't really research. So if we have to research, we're very rigorous about everything. We're rigorous about the number of chances we're giving, because this affects the results. Since it was a pure pedagogic thing, we didn't consider other research factors. In fact, even the kind of planning time we give to a child or to student, it affects the performance. So don't treat this from that perspective. Just see this as a purely assessment task or pedagogic tasks. That's my request. So we have English and Uzbek sentence level. So the mixing was allowed at sentence level. So I have just translated the Uzbek version in a blue color. One angry man with a blue cap was managing the traffic. Then he was very angry. At the moment, he is taking the shisha Pepsi. So these youngsters, they like this glass version of Pepsi or cola. So they shisha cola. So these things again remained in English version also. Shisha means conch. That is the same word we share. The shashlik and pulao are their delicacies. Under the tree, they were eating pulao and shashlik. They are together with drink Pepsi. So some error with preposition here. Next slide, please. And this is a little up. And this is a time for us to have some hands-on assessment. If there are any questions about this scale, you can feel free to type in chat box. Others can just try to score. So it is without rated training, but let us try how we score. And again, there are 5 levels So what level would you like to put that particular learner in terms of her multilingual abilities? It starts from 1 to 5. Can you try? Joshi ma'am, yes, you will get the feedback link. Please bear with us.
Try to answer the question raised by the speaker. You will receive the feedback. Everybody is concerned about feedback. We need answers.
It's already time, sir. That's why we
Okay,
need to
okay.
conclude by
Oh.
5:30. It's almost 5:45. That's why they are restless.
So let us keep this. And can you show me the next slide? Just a minute. I'll just take another 2-3 minutes. I'll just be quick about this. So this can be, linked with our context. If we have to look at some home truths about multilingual education, multilingual assessment in Indian context. So we acknowledge that we are a multilingual society in India, but when it comes to teaching, we seem to focus on one language at a time. So we go by this monolingual attitude. And the second thing, when we talk about language teaching, the teaching that pedagogy part gets prominence. The assessment part is lagging behind. So this is the reason when I started this presentation, I just showed a bit about pedagogic tasks, but I invested myself a lot in assessment in this webinar itself. Next slide, please. So these are the expected educational transitions in India. If you look at the bottom row of this table. So we already have multilingual assessment, and there's a transition happening. We're accepting monolingual assessment with multiple languages, but there is actual need of multilingual assessment with integrated approach. Not only monolingual with one language, not only multilingual with translated version, but multilingual assessment with interactive approach. Next slide, please. These are 3 important readings that I would like to suggest. First is a book, Multilingual Testing and Assessment, which runs into 151 pages. The second is again the project. So we have this manual. So this is the manual teachers can refer to when they make such multilingual tasks. Everything is given ready-made for there. You can just take the stories. These are like story-based. You can pick up the stories and you can write away using your classroom. You really don't have to worry about these things. And the third thing, this is a multilingual project. That is Multilingual project. The British Council in Cambridge. On this project, I have worked for extensively worked for 4.5 years. Yeah, multilingual project. Someone said ELTAI. So I'm really thankful for my teachers. Like I was a part of this. And the next slide. So these are the 3 important resources for teachers, and these are the conclusions one can, so the basic conclusion is that we have to start taking baby steps without being very rigid about the perfection, about the technical terms, about all these, scientific principles of language assessment, which we follow when it comes to monolingual assessment. But it requires our open-mindedness here. Like at some point, we start considering our students as a stakeholder. Next slide, please. And thank you so much. Over to you, Yunush.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your detailed description, detailed instruction about the necessity of multilingual assessment. And you really gave us practical examples, real life examples to understand the various levels of assessments that we could use in our assessment uh, tasks. For example, the three types of assessments that you mentioned: the monolingual, the multilingual by translation, and the multilingual by design. These are the three types of assessments that we are currently using, and we need to move away from the monolingual assessments and towards the monolingual by translation and monolingual by design. These are the recent uh, ways that we can consider the students' consider the students' presence, and incorporate their ability to assess while assessing. So it was a wonderful session, very insightful session with practical examples. I hope the participants would have got what they were looking for, and now the session is open for questions. I guess we are already out of time, therefore we will be taking questions. Let me see if there are any questions in the chat box. Dr. Sumana Bandyopadhyay has asked, are there any common frameworks for multilingual assessment? That's a question
Sorry?
from Sumana Bandyopadhyay. Are there any common frameworks for multilingual assessment?
There are not such common frameworks, but it is like evolving. Wherever it is required, we refer to some approaches. So this is the we have one approach, that interactive approach for language assessment. So it is different than the previous traditional approach and holistic approach. There is a third approach that looks at, and the book that I have suggested here, it has a good write-up on this third approach. So maybe someone like who is in need can refer to this book. There is nothing as such ready-made. I hope I have understood.
Thank you.
And one more thing I would like to, Dr. Inush, one thing you mentioned in your concluding remarks that we have to move away from monolingual assessment. That is not the case. We really don't have to move away from the monolingual assessment. We have to use wherever it is necessary, and wherever multilingual assessment is required, we must use for keeping our students in mind. And thank you so much. My teacher Shema ma'am is there. With message, it feels really, it gives good vibes when we have our teachers around appreciating us. Any other question?
Thank you for correcting me. And there is another question. Does accent act as barrier for understanding? By Harsh Srivastav. Says, does accent act as a barrier for understanding?
Does accent act barrier for understanding? There can be confusion, like when we have, because we cannot deny it. Sometimes in actual communication, it does play a role, but as we're trying to develop content knowledge of our students, so that could be a focus in particular classroom. So when we are talking about the polished version, like people say, there is this term accenticism. Like we do accept that accent can cause confusion, mostly when we communicate with international participants. We have our own accent, and one should really go for some specific training, or rather teacher can give specific training. But only in the name of accent, we cannot do away with, or we cannot push our learners towards only accent, and we really need to help them with content. If we have seen this kind of task, the assessment task we have used, we have actually tried to get learner immersed in the content.
Okay, thank you for that response. We have one more file
here, sir. I cannot
hear.
hear.
Audible? we have one more question. And what is the crux of multilingual teaching and assessment for policy making? This question is by Nagalakshmi, B. Nagalakshmi. Am I audible? Dr. Vasim, am I audible? Dr. Vasim?
I could not hear. I don't know if
Uh,
there is some problem again. Can you hear me?
yes, sir, we can hear you. Dr. Muthan Chaudhary,
So
am I
we can,
audible?
yes, yes, you're audible to us, but I'm not sure if you're
Probably.
audible to
Yeah, I guess Vasim.
Dr. Vasim. So are we audible to you? Okay, I guess that he has again some network
Thank you.
glitch.
I think. Thank you, Archana, ma'am. Audible, but I cannot hear anyone. I don't know.
Hello.
This technical glitch.
Hello.
There is some glitch, I
Yes.
guess.
No, no.
So-
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Hello.
Professor Patil.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Zatan Patel, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. I think you have
Uh,
to share something with us.
I must first of all congratulate Dr. Vasim Tamboli for having delivered
Dear
a wonderful talk.
Akash, I'm not playing. No one is audible to me.
I guess there is
Hello.
technical glitch. Sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You can go
Yes,
ahead,
sir.
sir.
No,
We can hear.
I said I would like to at the very outset I'd like to heartily congratulate Dr. Vasim Tamboli for having delivered a wonderful and comprehensive talk on a significant topic. I have a couple of questions, a couple of comments, not questions as such. Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So
Hello?
Vasim
So
cannot hear me.
he is facing some network glitch, so he cannot hear you.
Yeah, but can he hear you? No.
The
Nobody.
other participants can hear you, sir. So you can go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway. So I have a couple of comments to offer for Vasim and other
Yes,
colleagues and friends and students.
sir, just a minute.
Now,
There was a glitch. This iPod battery
now,
was.
can you hear me, Vasim?
I can hear you now. I can hear everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I have a couple of comments to offer for you. One, when you go through the compositions produced by your students or trainees, do you think it would be a good idea to see whether they place the topic sentence right in the beginning of the paragraph or somewhere in the middle of the paragraph or somewhere towards the end of the paragraph? Because cultures differ in this respect. In certain cultures, the topic sentence is placed right in the beginning of the paragraph. In certain other cultures, the topic sentence is placed towards the end of the paragraph. And in some cultures, the topic sentence is embedded somewhere in the middle of the paragraph. So do you think it would be a good idea for you, while reading the assignments or answers or compositions submitted to you by your learners or trainees, do you think it would be a good idea to see where exactly they place the topic sentence, beginning, middle, or ending? That's number one. Number two, it would also be interesting to see whether your learners or students proceed from specifics to generics or from generics to specifics. I would like to know what you think about these 2 points.
Thank you, sir. So when you talk about the placement of topic sentence, so when you talk about writing, it really reflects our thinking. And you also have this point added about this cultural reference. I did not think about this, and I thought about the omission or addition of ideas. But the
Okay.
placement of ideas, I really did not think about it. And I really add this point.
So when you go back to Uzbekistan and when you go back to your classes, it would be an interesting idea for you to see where exactly the topic sentence is placed by a majority of students, beginning, middle, ending. And it would be equally interesting to see whether they proceed from specifics to generics or from generics to specifics when they write a paragraph or two on a particular topic.
All
Please
right,
do
sir.
this when you're back.
I'll update you, sir, with this.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Your talk was quite
Thank you.
comprehensive.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Patel sir, for your question. I guess we can come to the conclusion of this session because we are running out of time. Now I hand over the session to Dr. Uttar Chaudhary for the concluding.
Thank you so much, sir. So it was indeed an engaging and thought-provoking discussion that we had today. On behalf of ELTAI, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Vasim Tamboli, for his time and insights. You talked about multilingual context, multilingual assessments, and educational transitions in India that you began with. And then I must mention here, sir, that your session was not only informative, but it was actually thought-provoking. You have helped us look at multilingual assessments through a fresh and practical lens, particularly in terms of how translanguaging can be used not just as a bridge between languages, but as a powerful educational tool. Your examples, your experiences, your research-based perspectives and clarity in delivery, everything made this complex concept accessible and quite engaging. And your suggestion at the end that taking the baby steps instead of attempting to be the perfectionist, it was really worth. So we deeply appreciate your time and your uh, expertise, sir. I thank Dr. Yunush Ahmad Muhammad Sharif for moderating the session and offering your expert remarks. I also would like to thank you for summarizing the session and handling the question and answers. Well, behind the scenes, there is a dedicated team that works tirelessly to ensure the success of ELTAI webinars. I thank the seniors. I thank Dr. Patel. I thank Rahul sir and for the value addition and for the timely input that you actually came up with. A special thanks to Kevin, a backbone of the organizing team, for his hard work and the commitment to organizing these webinars. And last but certainly not the least, a heartfelt thank to all our participants from abroad and of course all corners of India. Your active participation, questions and insights make these webinars not just informative but also a platform for rich discussions and global collaborations. There were already questions about the feedback links, so please don't forget to fill out the feedback form. Certificates will be issued only to the school, UG and PG students, ELTAI members and the foreign nationals. So ladies and gentlemen, before I wrap up, a few more announcements. Please mark your calendars and save the dates for our insightful webinar that is on Sunday, July 27th, 2025. We have a captivating session planned for you on the topic ESP for effective communication in Thai occupational context by Dr. Akarapun. From Thailand, he's going to deliver this talk. We have already got the poster here on the screen, and the registration details and additional information about the exciting webinar are available in the chat box and also on our website. And of course, one more exciting news that we are pleased to share the brochure for the 19th International and 55th Annual Conference of ELTAI on Lessons Taught, Lessons Learned, Teacher and Learner Narratives, scheduled to be held from 12th November to 15th November 2025, which is Wednesday to Saturday, at Christ University, Central Campus, Bangalore. The conference invites English language and literature educators, researchers, and practitioners to contribute to critical dialogues and reflective explorations through paper presentations, workshops, and academic discussions. We warmly encourage you to participate, present, and share the brochure with colleagues and academic networks. So you can please submit your abstract on or before 10th September 2025, but please do not wait for the last date. For more details, you can visit our conference website, which is a dedicated conference website, conf2025.eltai.in. Remember, your active participation is not only encouraged but essential to the success of our events. Let's continue our journey of professional development together. And now it's time for a group photograph. I request everyone to turn their videos on, please.